is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Visit during free Thursday nights. Every week from 5 to 9 p.m., there's something new to explore. Enjoy date-friendly events like artist talks, performances, and exhibition openings, or explore art-making open library hours and exhibition tours. Settle into your weekend among community. Free every Thursday night and free every day for citizens and members of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org. Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. For a meal that feeds your soul and health, check out Gatherings Cafe. Located in the renovative Minneapolis American Indian Center, Executive Chef Vernon Defoe and team serve up incredible indigenous flavors. Gatherings Cafe has amazing bison tacos featuring lean protein from native wise, corn tortillas, and homemade sides. It's fresh, local food rooted in ancestral knowledge. Stop by for breakfast or lunch. That's Gatherings Cafe, where tradition meets innovation.
Maintaining our health, particularly our heart health, is very important to us as a family.
Your heart gives you time. Time with family, time with community, time to pass down what matters. Protecting your heart helps keep those moments alive. A visit with a healthcare provider can be one step toward a healthier future. Learn more at hennepincounty.gov/hearts-beats. Your heart health is essential because your heart beats for generations.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Overnight showers and thunderstorms expected with a low of 60, then Saturday sunshine with a high of 74. There's something for everybody at Cafe Latte in St. Paul, from award-winning soup, salad, sandwiches, and desserts to treats from the bakery made fresh daily and a pizza and wine bar. Cafe Latte is located on the corner of Grand Avenue and Victoria Street. Check them out at cafelatte.com.
Good day to be indigenous.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Well, we are always excited to have our friend State Senator Mary Kunesh from the great state of Minnesota on and talk about her week and what's been going on. And I know there's an anniversary coming up, and it's just really great to have you on. Thank you so much, State Senator.
Hamatakiape, everybody. When we talk about an anniversary, it's not a joyous anniversary or something that we want to celebrate in any way, shape, or form. But this weekend is the 1 year anniversary of the murder and assassination of our state legislative leader, Melissa Hortman, and her husband, Mark, and their dog. Mm-hmm. And then the attempted assassination of Senator Hoffman and his wife, Yvette, and their daughter. It's still hard to believe that Melissa Hortman is gone. She was really and truly an incredible leader. And oftentimes we don't appreciate people until they're gone and they're not leading in the way that we were so used to. But I think almost everybody appreciated Melissa Hortman in real time. She was just a regular person who really had the heart of Minnesotans in mind. She was not politically advantageous. She wasn't looking to, run for higher office or, to, of course, most elected officials do not make money when they're as an elected official. So, she wasn't looking for the glory. I mean, she oftentimes, and rightfully so, deflected the praise and appreciation to others who had done the hard work. And she was lucky enough to be the leader to say, go ahead, take this and run with it. And she was just an all around really, really good person. And if people out there don't know what we're talking about, a year ago on the 14th, man impersonating a police officer had a hit list, and he was bent on assassinating everybody on that hit list, and they all happened to be elected officials, elected Democrats. And I can tell you my name was on that list. So it's kind of pretty freaky for me too, but I'll just never forget a year ago getting a phone call at about 3:30 in the morning that there had been this assassination attempt in both households. And we actually thought all of the people that were involved, all those legislators and their families, had been murdered. But John Hoffman and his wife, both of them having taken 8 to 9 bullets each in their bodies, have survived and continue to do the good work. It's the anniversary of that shooting. Vance Bolter is the one who is accused of killing the Hortmans and shooting the Hoffmans. I think it was this morning. Vance Bolter pled guilty to his crimes. I think that was in part of his plea bargain, that he would not have to be sentenced to death. We don't have the death penalty here in Minnesota the way it is in some of the other states. But apparently for all of his infractions, he will be in prison for the rest of his life for sure. It was, I don't know if you saw it, but there was an interactive timeline that the Minneapolis Star Tribune put out. I don't know, were you able to see that, Robert? If not, yeah. And it was fascinating. I mean, they had it kind of minute by minute, step by step, how they eventually did take a day or 2 days to find him.
Yeah. Out in the field, right?
Yeah, his family owned some land in southern Minnesota, and they found him crawling through the field to get to his house, where when they had gotten to his house, they found quite a bit of ammunition and guns and other things that he was probably after. But I'm always curious how he moved around the Twin Cities, because he had to get from where the Hortman's home was and Hoffman's home was, Hortman's home, in Brooklyn Park into North Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he took buses or Ubers or whatever, but this is a guy that showed up at their house and had actually tried 2 or 3 other legislators' homes, but they weren't home or didn't answer the call.
Mm-hmm.
But he was dressed as a police officer. You would have thought he had on police uniform. He had on the bulletproof vest. He had a SUV with just like cardboard license plates on them, and that were police ones, and had the lights going. So when John Hoffman opened the door, that's what he saw. Somebody that looks
Mhm.
like a legit police officer and a police car in his driveway, which is why he opened the door.
Right.
But he very quickly realized that was not a police officer. And that, sorry, that's when Walter started shooting through the door.
His daughter, didn't his daughter really save them by, I think, closing? She was the one closing the door, wasn't it? Or I don't remember, but she had a lot to do with saving both parents. Maybe it was getting them help right away. I don't quite remember. One of the things, I'm really glad you brought this up too, because I was going to ask you about this. How much trauma do you have through this? I mean, this, especially being convicted or pleading guilty today, and bringing back, geez, I wasn't home, but I could have been home.
Yeah. For me, it was it was a really tough summer last summer. I'm still a little surprised just how deeply it really did affect me.
Mhm.
When I had that night that happened, I had my granddaughter over here. And as I said, my name was on that hit list, and my address was on that hit list. And I was told at one point that if your name and address was on it, that was his route that night.
Wow.
So I just think, for my family, and I have family that are political. They speak up on issues. It made me very, very nervous for them as well. So to lose Melissa Hortman and her family, and what happened to John, and excuse me, the Annunciation shooting
Yes.
last year was very difficult emotionally in a lot of ways.
Hmm. And how I guess too, part of my question was I just put you on mute for a second. Go ahead, and one of my questions would be, is like, we talk a lot about this a lot on Native Roots Radio, is how are you getting through that? Talking with family, anything professional? Did the legislature have you have any availability for you for your healing?
Yep, I have to say that my caucus really stepped up. They provided mental health services for us. They installed security systems in our homes for us so that we're able to monitor and patrol our homes either from the inside or where we are outside. But family and friends, really important.
Let's talk more about this. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we're with our friend State Senator Mary Kunish from the great state of Minnesota. We'll be right back.
Heart health is more than just the physical well-being. It represents like a foundation of vitality, resilience, and the ability to live fully.
Your heart carries stories of resilience, love, and survival. Caring for your heart means honoring yourself and the generations before and after you. It means protecting your ability to gather, laugh, and be present. Learn more about your heart health at hennepincounty.gov/heart-beats, because your story matters and your heart beats for generations. Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. For a meal that feeds your soul and health, check out Gatherings Cafe. Located in the renovative Minneapolis American Indian Center, Executive Chef Vernon Defoe and team serve up incredible indigenous flavors. Gatherings Cafe has amazing bison tacos featuring lean protein from native wise, corn tortillas, and homemade sides. It's fresh, local food rooted in ancestral knowledge. Stop by for breakfast or lunch. That's Gatherings Cafe, where tradition meets innovation. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Warmer weather, sunny skies, summer is here. At the Walker, this means mini golf is open on the rooftop. Artist-led activations return to the hillside, and the cinema has a series of curated films. It's the perfect time to visit. Gallery admissions are free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org/summer.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis Air dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Pilot, and this is Native Roots Radio, and we are with our friend, State Senator Mary Kunesh, and we're talking a little bit about how, we'd like to talk about this too, on how mental health and how you take care of your soul, and especially with a stressful job like being a state senator. And one thing I want to just mention this before we get into the state senator. We had that Jane Fonda bumper, got a chance to meet her during the protests of Line 3. And I saw her on the Daily Show, and I'm just going, oh my God, she's so sharp. And I'm just like, went on my phone and looked at it, and she's like 88 years old, still doing it.
I hope when I'm 88, I am that sharp. Let me tell you. And I look that good.
Yeah. Well, I hope I've been gone a few years and people remember me by 88, because that's, but unbelievable. And I guess, being in the fight, getting up and being prepared to meet the day, which she's been doing for so many years and advocating for so many great causes like you. And I guess, again, how are you protecting your soul through all this? It's just, I just can't imagine. I know we talk about news here on Native Roots Radio, but I have outlets.
Well, I have to say my family is really, my anchor. My children and my grandchildren, they bring me so much joy. I was thinking, what did I do last summer? Well, we had the twins born.
Yeah.
And that was really, I think, what got me through the summer and into the fall, because there's nothing that melts a heart or calms your heart, your body, your system than holding a baby. And, two new twins, there was a lot of baby holding done, into the nights and, in the mornings. And so I spent a lot of time with my daughter and her family, taking care of those two little guys. And then, my granddaughters too, that are just, the silliest little girls and bring me so much joy. I think that's really what helped a lot. I can tell you that I probably went to more powwows last summer than I have gone to in a long, long time. Well, ever in my life, probably. It just, even if I could get to one for an hour or two and just be in the community, and what really affects me is the drumming. I mean, I get that drum beat. I get that drum beat in my blood pumping, in my own heartbeat, and it's just, bumping through my soul. And it oftentimes, just to walk around or sit there and absorb all of that really, really, really made a difference. I'm a real outdoor person, so anytime I can be near water, in the woods, I find that those are all really good ways for me to kind of recenter myself and get back in. And then, commiserating with other people who are processing this as well. This week, I was at a Women Winning luncheon. It's a luncheon for pro-choice women candidates and elected officials. That room was packed. Oh my gosh, it was packed with people, supporters and elected officials, women, and candidates, women. And I was sitting at the table with another state legislator from the House, and they did a memorial, moments silence for Melissa Hortman. And we both just looked at each other, and our eyes were just, filled with tears. And virtually hugging each other across the table.
Uh,
And she said, I'm going to send you this poem that somebody sent me that has gotten me through this. And I said, Jenny, it still hurts to this day. And she's like, I know. And so she sent me this lovely, lovely poem, which I have now read, maybe half a dozen times.
mm,
And I read it a little differently every single time, which is kind of cool. But it's that, understanding what has happened and recognizing the loss, but then also realizing that there's a legacy left by Melissa Hortman, and especially for women running for office, that we still have a lot of work to do. And so that is sort of one of our missions this election season, is to get more women elected across the board, from school board to governor to,
mhm.
whatever it might be, good candidates.
Yeah, that's going to be our focus here too, for sure. And yeah, it's really good. Maybe someday you can share that poem with us, because that would really be awesome to hear
Yeah.
and reflect, especially with these times. And again, you were saying too, it's good to be around celebrations. I know when things started unraveling in a good way, and seeing people in community when COVID was ending, and all of a sudden we see all these people that we haven't seen in a long time, and how healing that has been and is. The drum, I can really relate to that. I see my Weeha, my daughter, really get emotional whenever she hears the drum too. So it's in our blood and in our DNA. The heartbeat of Mother Earth.
Yeah, it is true. And it's amazing when you come across somebody, and perhaps you haven't seen them for a while or whatever, and you just look at them and you both know exactly what the other is thinking, or just like a silent hug that you don't have to say anything. The emotions are definitely being passed. And so, yeah, it's tough. We had, after that assassination, and then the children that were shot at Annunciation, and then the ice surge.
Yeah.
It's been just a really, and I won't use a naughty word, Robert, but
Thank you.
it's really a ugly, crummy year. And so I'm just hoping that this summer goes by without any big issues, and that we can get to an election where everybody is free to vote without any interference, and vote for good candidates, so that we can go ahead and continue to do the good work of Minnesota.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I told you earlier when we were talking before the show that I ran into Steve Simon at St. Paul Indians in Action meeting, and he did a great presentation. And so they're thinking about things, and they're also reminding us that there's 3 or 4 different ways to vote. You don't have to go if you feel like you're going to be intimidated the day of election, and those will be things that we'll be talking about.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Minnesota has been doing such a great job about getting out the vote, and really paying attention to the barriers that our Indigenous communities have faced over the years. And I've told this story many times about maybe 6 years ago, working with Get Out the Vote in Indian country, and talking to elders who didn't even know they could vote in general elections. They thought they could only vote on tribal reservation elections. And so they voted for the first time in their life. Some of these people were in their 70s and 80s, and finally able to do, what they have had the right to do forever, but nobody educated them well enough, nor did they feel comfortable doing it because of intimidation. So Minnesota had, last election cycle, we had mobile voting vans that would go into areas that were really hard to get to for those residents to get out and vote in person. Not everybody understands about mail-in voting. We have that as well. We have early voting. So the next time you're not yet, but when it's time, the next time you're in town, you can just go vote while you're in town, and then you don't have to make that extra trip. So we want to make voting as accessible and as less complicated as possible. Not because we want to win, and I'm thinking like my caucus, the Democrat caucus, but because it's our right.
Yeah.
And those are the people that are making the decisions for us.
We only got a minute left here, but I want to remind you, 2 cycles ago, we had over 9,000 new Native Americans registered to vote with the organizations that you talk about, make voting a tradition up north. And it really made a difference on 2 things. The whole statewide election for Walz and Flanagan, but also it engaged politicians up there and knew that the Native communities had power, and they really reached out to them.
Mm-hmm. I remember when we redistricted after the census, and I talked to some of the tribes up there because they had them all separated out. And I said, well, you can always ask to be put in the same one, power in numbers.
Yeah, that's right. Amazing. Well, we got less than a minute here, State Senator. What does this week look like for you? I know you're you're in a part-time job that's more than full-time. I know you work with education and our farmers and things like that. You're all over the state and plus all over the country too with things.
Yeah. Well, tonight I'm going down to the Goodhue area. There's a really great candidate. He's a farmer himself that is stepping up to run for Senate. He's my mentee, so I'll go there. And then keep working on that constitutional amendment for the school trust land.
Yes.
And whatever else shows up at my doorstep.
Yeah, they brought that up at the convention, and I thought of you immediately. So
Good.
Again, hey, thank you for spending time here on Native Roots Radio, and we'll see you next week.
My pleasure. Dolce, everyone.
Hey, we'll be right back. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Visit during free Thursday nights. Every week from 5 to 9 p.m., there's something new to explore. Enjoy date-friendly events like artist talks, performances, and exhibition openings, or explore art-making open library hours and exhibition tours. Settle into your weekend among community. Free every Thursday night and free every day for citizens and members of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Unwanted sexting or photos, inappropriate jokes, even tickling or wrestling can feel like a violation. Catcalling, cornering, or groping, getting them drunk or high for sex, recording sexual acts without permission, hurting someone because of their sexual orientation, raping a family member, a child, a date, a friend, a stranger, purchasing a human being for sex. You make the choice every single time. Sexual violence is many things. Make a choice. Do not do it.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. For a meal that feeds your soul and health, check out Gatherings Cafe. Located in the renovative Minneapolis American Indian Center, Executive Chef Vernon Defoe and team serve up incredible indigenous flavors. Gatherings Cafe has amazing bison tacos featuring lean protein from native wise, corn tortillas, and homemade sides. It's fresh, local food rooted in ancestral knowledge. Stop by for breakfast or lunch. That's Gatherings Cafe, where tradition meets innovation.
Culture prevents so many negative things from happening to us as individuals and as communities.
Strong roots begin with a healthy heart. For Indigenous women, heart health is part of caring for community, culture, and future generations. Even small steps can help protect what matters most. Discover ways to support your heart at hennepincounty.gov/hearts-beats, because your heart beats for generations.
This is Chase Iron Eyes announcing a new show on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, powered by Native Roots Radio. The show is called Native American Patriot Talk Radio. What will we do on the show? We are going to explore and dive into the source of American constitutional sovereignty, the intersection of Native American and legal issues. Find us the first and third Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. on AM 950.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Warmer weather, sunny skies, summer is here. At the Walker, this means mini golf is open on the rooftop. Artist-led activations return to the hillside, and the cinema has a series of curated films. It's the perfect time to visit. Gallery admissions are free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org/summer.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Overnight showers and thunderstorms expected with a low of 60, then Saturday sunshine with a high of 74. There's something for everybody at Cafe Latte in St. Paul, from award-winning soup, salad, sandwiches, and desserts to treats from the bakery made fresh daily and a pizza and wine bar. Cafe Latte is located on the corner of Grand Avenue and Victoria Street. Check them out at cafelatte.com. This is AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hi, it's Dr. Evan Adams, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio. Hey, Victor, you better be listening.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio. We are like all over Turtle Island. We really appreciate everybody's support and listening to our show. Hey, we have our producer, Misko, on, and we were just going to talk a little bit here. Misko, it's great to have you aboard. This, I guess, is officially your second week or first week. The time flies when you're old.
Yeah, I think it's second week, but
Hi, it's
like
Dr.
you said,
Evan Adams, and you're listening to Native.
yeah, time has been flying.
Yeah, it has been. Maybe you can talk a little bit about yourself to the audience here. And I know we have big plans for you later on in the year, doing some news reports via the Circle and things like that. And you're always able to jump on in case I need to talk to somebody. And as you know, I can't do the show like the previous show person, Mac McNeil, or Chase Iron Eyes for that matter, that can just spew out information. I'm the king of so I really appreciate you being able to come on.
Yeah, I think you're really great at asking questions and getting the other person to talk. But a little bit about myself is I met Pilot when I was like 14 or 15. I took his technical video production class, and from there I kind of fell in love with media. Pilot helped me kind of get to know my identity as like a Native person, and really instilled in me the importance of using Native voices in media. So then I took, photography class. I'm an artist at heart, so I picked up sewing, beading. I make regalia. I dance. I love being in the community, so I've been a part of a lot of youth programs. And then now that I'm in my mid-20s, I've led some youth programs in the community, specifically language programs that infuses the language and technology. So that was my previous job before coming here. And again, just kind of instilling into the youth how important it is for them to learn their language and to use their voices in media.
Yeah, you are part of the dreams our elders had, and I really appreciate you and always have your stick-to-itiveness and your class and your getting the job done. And so I appreciate you joining the Native Roots Radio team. You've been a guest many times, so it's fun to have you working with us. And also I want to just give you a shout out too. You were the manager the first year of the store when we were at Dayton's at Native Roots Trading Post, and that was a lot of fun, and that was a really big learning experience. And I think we're going to be on our 6th year. Does that sound right?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think I was about 19 or 20 when that began. So definitely time flies.
Yeah, you know that. Hey, can you do me a favor? One of the, we want to replay our friend, and I know you and I over the years have met this person many times and look up to, and I've always said I really appreciate you, her being in community and our natives that see somebody in leadership look like them and how important that is. And let's take a quick listen to our friend, Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan again.
Okay, got it.
Sorry,
it takes a
it's
second.
always so great to be with you. I wanted to start by sharing some exciting news with Indian Country. A couple of weeks ago, I became the first Native American in history to earn the DFL endorsement for a federal office in Minnesota. It's an honor that I carry with a tremendous amount of gratitude, humility, and responsibility. And this endorsement wasn't decided by insiders in a back room. It was earned through a grassroots process that began all the way back in February when nearly 40,000 Minnesotans showed up to caucus in their communities. Those folks elected delegates to represent them at the DFL State Convention in Rochester, where people from every corner of Minnesota came together and overwhelmingly chose to support our campaign. What made this year especially meaningful is that 57% of the delegates participating in the process were participating for the very first time. More people got involved because they saw what was happening in our communities and they decided they couldn't sit on the sidelines anymore. And in many ways, that made this convention body more reflective of the broader Democratic Party electorate than any other point in recent memory. And Indian Country showed up in a big way, too. We had 40 Native delegates at the convention, the largest Native contingent we've ever seen. My tribal chairman, Chairman Fairbanks, was there from White Earth, and tribal leaders from across Minnesota were there. Native organizers, Native young people, Native elders. It was pretty powerful. And as I stood on that convention stage, I thought about my grandma, my aunties, my mom, my dad, and all of the Native people who came before me. I thought about how unlikely this moment would have seemed when I was carrying a box of commodity cheese home from the food shelf as a kid. And I thought about how this party and this movement believed in my family long before people knew my name. And that's why earning this endorsement meant so much to me. The DFL endorsement process matters because it's one of the few places left in politics where organizing still matters more than money. It's hard for billionaires to buy what happens where neighbors gather in church basements, libraries, school cafeterias, and gymnasiums. It's hard for corporate special interests to compete with people having real conversations with each other about the future of their communities. And I think that's exactly what we saw happen at the convention. Our campaign earned the support for more than 75% of the delegates. That support was so overwhelming that my opponent withdrew from the endorsement process altogether before delegates had an opportunity to cast their votes. To me, that wasn't one person winning and another person losing. It was a reflection of what people are hungry for right now. People are still looking for leaders who will show up, tell the truth, reject corporate influence, and fight unapologetically for working people. Unfortunately, now that the endorsement process is over, we're seeing exactly what so many of us expected. Outside groups funded by crypto, big oil, big pharma, AIPAC, and other corporate special interests are pouring millions of dollars into this race. They're trying to buy a United States Senate seat for my primary opponent because they know she will keep advancing their priorities. And lately, they've been becoming increasingly desperate. You might have seen a TV ad starring something that kind of looks like me, but isn't. My opponent's super PAC is using an AI deepfake of me to try to mislead voters, and I think Minnesotans deserve better. But none of this is surprising. When you refuse corporate PAC money, when you challenge powerful interests, when you say the system is rigged in favor of corporations and billionaires, those interests tend to push back. But that's okay, because this campaign has never been about the money. It's about the many. It's about the people who showed up during Operation Metro Surge to stand up for their neighbors. It's about the mom standing in the grocery store, asking her child to put something back on the shelf because everything costs too much. It's about a dad working a second job and still picking up extra shifts, but still struggling to get ahead. It's about the elder trying to stretch Social Security just a little bit further every month. It's about a young person wondering if they'll ever be able to afford a home of their own. It's about the family driving hours just to find childcare. It's about the kid with a disability whose parents are terrified of losing Medicaid. It's about the people delivering groceries to their neighbors, showing up at community events, volunteering, organizing, and refusing to give up on each other. It's about everyday Minnesotans who believe that we deserve something better than the status quo in Washington. And here's the thing that gives me hope. This momentum isn't just showing up in the endorsement process, it's showing up everywhere. We recently released a poll showing our campaign leading by 17 points statewide. We're leading in the Twin Cities and we're leading in Greater Minnesota. The momentum we're seeing isn't coming from one community or one part of the state. It's coming from Native communities, rural communities, union households, young people, elders, and working families all across Minnesota who are ready for something different, for something better. But I don't take any of that for granted. Polls don't vote. Endorsements don't vote. People vote. And that's why now is the time to get involved. We have less than 3 months until the primary election. Early voting begins on June 26th. And while corporate special interests are spending millions to try to buy the Senate seat, we're building something very different. We're building it person by person, volunteer by volunteer, conversation by conversation. And over the coming weeks, we'll be launching a statewide tour that takes us to all 8 congressional districts, because I believe leadership means showing up everywhere. We'll also be debating throughout the summer, including a TPT Almanac debate on June 19th, NPR on July 27th, and at FarmFest on August 5th. I'm looking forward to those debates because I believe Minnesotans deserve a real discussion about who we're fighting for. I made a choice to not take corporate PAC money because I want Minnesotans to know exactly who I answer to. I don't think corporations need another champion in Washington. They already have plenty of representation. What they need is someone willing to fight for the people who are too often ignored, someone willing to stand up to corporate power, someone willing to stand up to ICE, someone willing to challenge the status quo when it isn't working. And that's a campaign we're building together. So if you've been thinking about getting involved, now is the time. If you've been waiting to volunteer, now is the time. If you've been wondering whether your voice matters, it does. Because the reason we're winning right now is not because we've got the most money, it's because we have the most people. And if we keep organizing, showing up, and taking care of each other the Minnesota way, we're gonna run through the finish line together. If you'd like to get involved, please visit PeggyFlanagan.com. There's lots of room on Team Peggy. Chi miigwech for listening, chi miigwech for continuing to take care of one another, and chi miigwech to everyone across Indian country who continues to organize, lead, and fight for a better future. Back to you, Robert. Pinagigi.
I love how she said Pinagigi. That was awesome. Well, great update and so many right things that she had to say. I mean, we really appreciate and want to amplify what she's doing, just because there is so much dark money out there, Misko, that's really affecting people that maybe not paying attention that much. The video that she talked about is all I don't even know how legally they can put an ad up like that. It is so disturbing and really not what she does and what she believes in. She, it talks about her taking PAC money and supporting ICE, all this stuff that's just unbelievable. So we really have to amplify and talk about this election, especially here in Turtle Island. Not only because she's Native, but she's doing all the right things. And so we officially support her in a good way here, Misko.
Yeah, I seen the ad, and I just think it's that they have to go so low to do that, and it looks AI, and of course they would use AI to make something fake generated like that.
Unbelievable. Hey, really a great show today. Up next, we're going to have a best of Wendy, one of Wendy's segments. And you're listening, to Native Roots Radio, and we'll be back. Everyone have a great weekend. And again, hold on. Wendy's going to be up in just a minute. This is Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back after this short break.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Maintaining our health, particularly our heart health, is very important to us as a family.
Your heart gives you time with family, time with community, time to pass down what matters. Protecting your heart helps keep those moments alive. A visit with a healthcare provider can be one step toward a healthier future. Learn more at hennepincounty.gov/hearts-beats. Your heart health is essential because your heart beats for generations. Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. For a meal that feeds your soul and health, check out Gatherings Cafe. Located in the renovative Minneapolis American Indian Center, Executive Chef Vernon Defoe and team serve up incredible indigenous flavors. Gatherings Cafe has amazing bison tacos featuring lean protein from native wise, corn tortillas, and homemade sides. It's fresh, local food rooted in ancestral knowledge. Stop by for breakfast or lunch. That's Gatherings Cafe, where tradition meets innovation.
If the statistics say that 1 in 3 Native women and 1 in 6 Native men have experienced sexual assault in their lifetime, it means our whole community is affected by sexual violence. 1 is too many. Don't stand by, stand up. Don't engage in acts of sexual violence, and shut down the dirty jokes, the gossip, the victim blaming and shaming. As a community, we can change the way we respond. Contact the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition to attend a workshop to learn more.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
In this portion of the show, we like to bring awareness to our wolf and bear populations throughout Turtle Island. Say no to the hunts.
No!
Oh.
Hey, Wendy, I want to introduce my awesome and beautiful wife, Wendy. Wendy's been an animal advocate for many years and co-founder of Native Roots Radio and Pilot's Progressive Party radio shows, and also has a great art business called Pilot's Palette, which is hard for me to say, but I did pretty good there. Hey, Wendy, I just want to bring this up before you talk about our sacred animals or sacred relatives.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this after Dr. Stately was on, and I remember years ago we used to do the show live at AM 950's studio.
I remember that.
And we said, wow, great show. This was cool. And then the producer, the board person said, you have one more segment to do.
Oh, that's right.
So
I remember we were about to get up and leave, and they're like, wait, the show's not over. And we're like, what?
Oh,
I remember that. That's a fun memory.
Usually it's the opposite. It goes so fast.
Yeah, it does go so fast.
We did 3 segments and we dropped the mic when we were ready to go.
I know. So do I need to introduce myself, or everybody knows who I am already?
No,
right?
Introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. My name is Hanaji Hihani. That means cares for them. And I was given that name by my Dega Curtis. Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajinga, which means walks on white clouds. I'm a policy volunteer for Humane World for Animals, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level. It's always my pleasure to do that.
Yeah.
I think I talked about this already on the radio, but sometimes I'll read an article and I'll be like, oh wow, that's really cool. But then I can't remember whether I talked about it or not. So anyway, this might be a repeat. I don't know. So anyway, this is from the Facebook page. It's called the Animal Rescue Site by Greater Good. They have a lot of good articles and stories about animals and what happens to them. So here it is. According to the BBC, the walrus was spotted late at night on the 30th in Scarborough, North Yorkshire in England. That walrus, which they named Thor, was spotted previously around the UK, and his unusual presence was drawn attention to the wildlife experts along with members of the public. So according to a news release from Scarborough, the city had planned a 6-minute firework display to start at midnight to ring in the new year. The location of the display was supposed to be right around where Thor was sighted. British Divers Marine Life Rescue released a statement on the walrus, noting that they immediately sectioned off the area where he slept before the public noticed his presence. And it was a good thing they did that because thousands of people ended up crowding around just to see him. The rescue group wrote, quote, "At all times, the crowd was at least 350 people thick. And at one point, seemingly over 500 people were there with more bodies continually appearing from all avenues, roads, and even bus trips. It is estimated several thousand people were in attendance over the whole day, though likely there were more." So all the meantime, Thor is like out on the water on a little thing that he's laying on.
I wanted to say this too. Say, what is Thor again?
He's a walrus.
Cuckoo, cachoo. I wanted to say that real quick.
While Thor was sleeping, the rescue group noticed he was agitated by a few noisy vehicles passing with bright lights. Seeing how those few things irritated the walrus, the group began to worry about the New Year's Eve fireworks display that was scheduled to take place in close proximity to where Thor was lounging. In the statement, the rescue reported that they told the city council that the firework display could affect the walrus, and all council members, all of them, who without reservation agreed the firework display would likely cause stress and alarm to the walrus, and therefore they canceled it without hesitation. How is that?
Wait a minute.
That's awesome. Like, seriously. They saw this one animal, the walrus.
Cuckoo, choo.
And they went to the city council where they all agreed unanimously, no fireworks because it would disturb Thor. How wonderful is that?
That's beautiful. And didn't we read something about, was it Japan that did fireworks without sound this year?
Okay.
Or called them off? Or
In Calicchia, Italy.
Yes.
Calicchia, Italy.
We're moving there, by the way.
That's a town in Italy. They have silent fireworks on the
Wow.
4th of July and New Year's Eve. The reasons are because of their veterans,
Yes.
people,
Yes.
and animals. So for
So-
everybody. Yeah. They have.
Let me get this going.
Yeah, exactly.
So people are, we talked to Dr. Stately how the pendulum goes way to the left and way to the right, but also some things stick and some things are sticking right now. All these years you've been doing these animal segments, there's, people are getting it.
Yeah, it's
in a lot of ways.
We find a lot of good news. There's still bad news out there, and I'll still report that just to bring awareness to certain situations. But honestly, things have been getting better, and I think we're coming to a more humane world. So hopefully that is. So I have another quick story if you let me.
Yes,
So this is
please
about
do.
an eagle. So this is Gentle Bird Moments. I read from them the other day, but there was this injured bald eagle that appeared at a wildlife rescue center all on its own. So this eagle, I'm not going to read it was on October. This is an older story from October 14th, 2024. On the morning of October 14th, 2024, staff at the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center facility on the outskirts of British Columbia, Canada, encountered a sight few had ever witnessed before. A fully grown bald eagle was found standing quietly near the entrance of the center, close to the glass door, unmoving yet alert, as if waiting. Upon closer inspection, rescuers discovered that the eagle had been seriously injured by a hunting projectile, believed to be a modified arrow or dart embedded deep in its back. Yeah. Despite the trauma and blood loss, the bird had managed to fly several kilometers through forested terrain and human settlements before arriving at the exact location where injured wildlife is treated.
Jeez.
Now, we wonder how these animals know this, right? According to veterinarians on site, the eagle showed no signs of panic or aggression. It did not attempt to flee. Instead, it remained still for hours, conserving energy, watching reflections in the glass until staff carefully approached it. So it was found on one of their cameras outside, and the
Wow.
eagle just stayed there for a long time. I guess the center was closed, but they could see the eagle in the glass window, and then finally got it. So the injury was severe but survivable. Emergency surgery was performed that same day, and the eagle was stabilized. Specialists later confirmed that without timely medical intervention, the bird would not have survived another night. What has unsettled many is not only the eagle's resilience, but its apparent decision. There are countless buildings, forests, and open fields in the area, yet the eagle chose this place. Biologists caution against attributing intention or mysticism, noting that injured animals may seek human structures instinctively. Still, even seasoned professionals admit this case is extraordinary. So this bird found the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center, where they must have had some knowledge of animals being treated there or helped, right?
Right.
But it's unexplained. So.
Wow. Hey, if you're listening to this, thank you, Big Peony Gee, Wendy. If you're listening to this show, you are part of the resistance from Chief Plenty Coops, the ground on which we stand on. It's sacred ground. It's the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office. We're still here. We are the seventh generation. And remember, tomorrow, Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. We'll see you later.
Heart health is more than just the physical